Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Strange Conspiracies. We're doing part three today, and we're going to try to wrap this thing up. You guys have seen the other two, um, episodes that we made. They were the guy's been through a lot. He's been through a lot of stuff, and more than most people. And he keeps such a positive attitude about it all the way. So let's dive in, listen to it, and let me know what you think in the comments after the show. We'll see you later.
Okay, thank you very much, Cody. I appreciate it. So hi everyone, I'm back again here. It's Eddie. We're doing part three. I wanted to switch gears a little bit. I know everything's been on the negative stuff, and and things that have happened to me, and I want to make sure that we also include the positive stuff. So to me, it's always been about the balance of good and evil, or negative and positive. So today I want to talk to you all and Cody about a lot of the positive stuff. Because if I didn't have this positive stuff in my life, I probably wouldn't be here. I'm just being honest with you. And the reason is because it just weighs you down. And when something weighs you down, like things have weighed me down, unfortunately, people commit suicide or they get into drugs or become alcoholic, whatever, go to jail, get murdered. I don't know, but I don't want to be that guy. Again, I'm not perfect, but this is why I chose to share my story in this platform, because we can reach more people that maybe are going through the same stuff. So, with that being said, starting off with some of the positive stuff, there's a few little tidbits that I want to get out there. First of all, on the positive side is I wanted to thank Cody. He's been through a lot himself as well, and allowing me to come on and talk to everyone about my stuff. So I appreciate that. I got my grandson here, the cats, playing around, meowing, and also the viewers, because you're accepting me for who I am, and that's a big part of me being Addy, talking to you truthfully and being honest and not trying to hide anything. Because I think that if you're hiding stuff or hiding behind something, then you're actually just fooling yourself, and you're not helping yourself or anyone else. So everyone out there, here comes my grandson. Hi, son. You need to take a step back sometimes, and this is what I did as well. I had to really think about. Let's see, hang on, son. You want to say hi? Okay. Say hi again. You got to take a step back sometimes and think about. I always used to think to myself, what am I doing wrong? What did I do to someone else? Why is this going on? Why is that going on? And for the longest time, I was kind of disgusted with myself. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I'm not sure why this has happened to me. God, give me some answers. My mom and dad, anyone, give me some answers. But then I started to become a little bit negative and also down on myself, thinking I wasn't normal and whatever. I'm not sure. But I didn't even do anything. But what it does, it plays on your psyche. And then when you start to get in that field of going down on yourself. Maybe I've never been depressed, but I've been upset, and it always bothers me because I wear my heart on my sleeve, and this is me 24/7, right? So it's kind of hard when you talk about stuff. But anyway, what I found is that I love everyone equally. I don't care if you're white, black, blue, green, if you've got antennas hanging out your area. I don't care. I love animals, all that kind of stuff. That's just who I've always been. But I didn't love myself, and because of the mental abuse, physical abuse, and all that kind of stuff that was happening to me and my brothers and my family and parents, we didn't have a lot of support. So didn't love myself. And once I realized that I'm a good human being, I'm a good person, I'm not perfect, but I help other people, and I will give you the shirt off my back, literally right now. So I'm proud of that. And then I realized that, hey, I'm a good person. I've got a lot to offer. And then I realized that this whole veil that was over me of negativity needs to go. And what happened then is my aura changed, I guess. And I started to realize that, hey, I have value. I can do all these things, and I've done all these things, and I've got an amazing career and all these cool things. And I started to value that. What I'm saying is I actually started to love myself, meaning I found myself as a good person, and I fell in love with who I am and who I'm going to be going forward. So I let that negative energy behind because of what happened with my family and parents and all the things that have gone on with me. So if you can understand what I'm saying, it weighs on your neck and your back, and you're just walking around with all this anger and stuff that just doesn't help you, man. Like, trust me, I've been there. And if for anyone that's going through that, you just try and find someone to talk to, or look yourself in the mirror and go, look, is this how I really want to live? Do I want to be introverted? Do I want to not talk to people? Do I want to put my head down, or do I want to be shy, or do I not want to go out? Life's too short, literally. In the next episode, I'm going to tell you about some stuff here. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, getting back to the positive, I wanted to start with a couple of stories. In episode 2, I talked about my Uncle Mo, the mechanic friend of ours whose son overdosed. I said I wasn't going to give up. I kept busting his chops, and I got a hold of him. He called me back, and we had a good talk. And he said that he's very happy now. He's moving on. He's trying his best. He's got a gigantic GMC Sierra truck that's lifted, and he built it by himself, and he's driving it around and stuff. But he blew his transmission, so now his mind is busy on fixing his truck. So he didn't have anything. He was taking care of his grandson, but his mind was off because he's been a mechanic for so long, 30 years, and he's retired now. So your mind starts to think like that, over and over. I'm the same way. I think about stuff, I replay it in my brain over and over and over again. What could I have done? What could I have not? It's part of being OCD or your personality. So what happens is the same thing was happening to him. So now he started to level off, feel good. So just wanted to let the viewers know he's doing really well. And he said to say hello to everyone, and I'm passing that on. He's doing good. So the other thing, there's a couple of things that have happened. So I just want the viewers to know, my left knee that I talked about in episode 1, the cancer is dormant. So I've had pain in my knee for a long time, but it turns out that I've got a torn meniscus and a torn MCL ligament. So we'll have to have surgery. But coming up here next week on the 8th, I have my right hand getting opened up for the surgery for carpal tunnel. I've had it done before, but it was a different procedure. This one's more invasive. And then my daughter gets married on the 15th of August, which is totally positive. I'm going to get into that. After that, I get my left hand done. And then after that, I'll get my left knee done. So lots coming up there. But it's all going to be going towards a positive light because, like I said, the pain I've been living with on my physical side, it's been 30 years of that. So alleviating pain is a big thing too. Like physical pain also can manifest in mental pain. And people may not know the difference if you have inflammation in your shoulder, your knee, whatever, and then it'll make you feel angry and you won't even know what's happening because you're in pain. So I advise people to go see your doctor. He or she get checked up, get your blood work done. You just never know what's going on, and make sure that we're trying to live our best lives. Something may come up and you can address it sooner than later. So that's that being said. Today is now Friday. On Tuesday, my wife and I were out front cleaning our SUV. So we're cleaning the SUV, and we've got these. We've been at this house for 6 years now, and every year we have these 2 crows, 2 or 3 that come. There's a tree beside us, and the mom and dad always nest there. So there's always 2 or 3 yearlings, the baby crows, ravens. And this year, these 2 are incredible. They're always out front. And what happens is when we take our dogs for a walk or we walk down the street, these 2 crows follow us around, literally. And we'll go for miles and miles for a walk, and they'll be in the trees and they'll follow us around. And what they're doing is they're alerting us and watching over us. And how I can prove that is on Tuesday, we were out there cleaning the SUV. These crows fly down to the pole, which is just 2 doors down, 2 houses down from me. And they start squawking. I'm like, what the hell's going on? My wife's in the car. I'm outside cleaning the rims. I had no idea. So these crows are squawking and going crazy. I'm like, what's up, crow friends? What's going on? It turns out they're freaking out because there's a gigantic black bear hiding behind the tree on neighbor's yard that just dumped the dumpster down looking for garbage. And this bear was big. So they were warning me. And they're squawking and they're doing their thing, the tail. And then my wife goes, look, there's a bear. You got to get in the car. I'm like, what? I turn around. The bear was 50 feet away from me. I had no idea. So these crows were literally watching out for me. It was amazing. They're out front right now. I've got a picture here. But yeah, so then, the black bear, my wife got out of the car and she started clapping and whatever and horning. So the bear took off, which is great. So thank you to my wife and the crow friends there. But unfortunately up here, the last few years, we've had a lot of forest fires. And the bears are moving into the city. So 2024, there was 530 bears put down by conservation up here where we live because of the fact that they were becoming nuisance. I don't think they're nuisance. They just were scared, and they're looking for food. But just want to remind everyone, not every animal that's out there is trying to hurt us. I don't know what the bears. It was looking for food, right? But I just had no idea. But the crows were warning me. So that was Tuesday. So Thursday comes around. Wednesday comes around. I apologize. Wednesday comes around. We're going to see my daughter 3 hours away. And what happens is we go out there And on the way, I see that same gigantic eagle, and it's looking at me. It's gigantic white head, bald eagle. I'm like, okay, cool. Then, maybe he or she's trying to warn me. We go out, we drive. Nothing happens on the way out there, except there's a lot of deer up here. Like I've told you guys, we're up north. And let me just explain, just so people understand. Where we live, we are 4 hours away north from us, from mile zero of the Alaska highway. So I just wanted to make sure that people understand that, like, we're in a pretty remote area, right? So that's why we see, wolves, bear, grizzly, black bear, moose. Like I said, every animal you can see, wolverine, bobcats, lynx. We see everything. So we're driving out, and there's deer up here. They're very red, like kind of like a Sasquatch. You see that cinnamon orangey red. And the last 6 years, we never seen these deer. It's weird. We've seen deer all the time. They're darker brown. They got white spots, all kinds. But these ones are bright red. And my wife and I are like, what's going on? They're passing us. They're crossing the street. We're like, okay, wait, whatever. I've never hit an animal in my life, and I don't want to. However, we go out to Quesnel, where my son-in-law, my future son-to-be with my daughter's husband, he gets off work and he goes home, and they live in a rural area. So they're out of the main town of Quesnel where they live. It's about 20 minutes. They live on a farming side, which has 2-acre lots and it's private and stuff, but there's a very lonely road called Quesnel-Hickson Road. My son-in-law has written off 2 cars in the last 2 years because he's been avoiding the deer, and he's almost been, unfortunately, almost killed. So just to qualify that, right? I mean, he's written off 2 cars by hitting these big bucks and whatever crossing the road. So 2 cars have been totally written off by our insurance corporation. He's okay. So he's driving back home, and we're supposed to go meet him. So we're about 4 minutes behind him, my wife and I. So he's got a little Volkswagen GTI, and he's cruising around the corner, probably 3-4 minutes from his house. And he comes to a halt, and he can't believe what he's seeing. He's seeing a Ford Explorer that had just avoided those same red deer, rolled over multiple times, and it's now on the top of it. It's 4 wheels up. He comes to a halt, and he comes to a halt because of the fact that it was a sharp corner, and he's lucky he wasn't going too fast, because he would have ran into that car, which had now been across the entire road. So the 4 wheels are up. The gentleman was out of the car, and his food and his stuff was all over. My son Peter talked to him and said, "Hey, listen, are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm okay. What happened?" And what had happened is he said there was the red deer that crossed by, and he didn't want to hit it, and he tried to avoid it, but the corner was so sharp, and I'm pretty sure he was going a little faster than he should have been. However, he flipped the car and was up. So long story short, my son Peter, son-in-law, sends me a video quickly, and he warns me, "Hey, there's an accident up here." So I was literally just behind him, and I'm coming pretty fast as well. And I come around the corner. If he didn't warn me, I would have come around the corner and I would have crashed into that car because I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have seen it, right? So no one had known it just happened, the accident. So what I'm getting at is my son warned me, and he had been through a couple of accidents with the same deer. This gentleman was okay. But that eagle was trying to tell me something that morning, wasn't he? That's what I think. So we made sure the guy was okay. We got off the side of the road there. The police came. They blocked off the road and had the car removed, and everything was okay. So we avoided crisis there. So on the way home, my wife and I are driving after we see our son and daughter and everything, and drop off some food and some gifts and stuff we had given for them. It's a long road now, 3.5 hours back home. So I'm just going to say this. Whenever I see these animals, I don't know what to tell you, but to me, I'm gifted to see these animals, and I'm so happy to see them. So on the way home, we've seen the red deer. We've seen multiple moose on both sides of the road, multiple gigantic moose. We've seen the deer, we've seen moose. I've seen the lynx that night. We've seen caribou, multiple caribou, just on the side of the road, just looking at us. Okay, no problem. So we were about 30 minutes from our home. It's getting dark now. We're driving. I'm like, wow, I'm telling my wife, wow, this is amazing. Eh? Wow, that accident was pretty bad. The guy might have got hurt. We're talking about it. All of a sudden, the 2 red deer cross in front of us. My wife's like, whoa, deer. I look over, 1 deer passes by, and the other one was bigger. It looks at us, and I just barely got on the brakes, and his butt hit my front right bumper, but just grazed off, and he kept going. And me and my wife were like, oh my God, like what the, I've never hit an animal, but it was almost like unreal, because the guy that just crashed had the same deer cross in front of him. So it was weird, but something saved us there too. So we're driving home. We're about 20 minutes away. My wife and I just like, oh man, this is tired. We want to go home. We're tired now, right? So 20 minutes, about 10 minutes from our house, there's a bridge that we have to cross to go into our go onto our road. All of a sudden, we're talking and I'm looking. I'm a little more alert now, watching this gigantic mom grizzly bear with three cubs crosses in front of us like this. I slow down. She looks at us, but one cub was tucked in her front paws like this, and the other two were in front. And it just crossed, looked at us, and went across. And I'm thinking to myself, you know how rare it is to see a grizzly bear in its natural habitat, let alone with three cubs. So they passed safely, and then went inside, or sorry, to the forest on the right hand forest road, and then we went home. So crisis averted. We saw some amazing animals, right? So thank you to the eagles and all the animals that are trying to help me, the crows, everything. So that brings me to what we're talking about, the positive stuff. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to start with this. If you have negative energy or something going on in your life, you need to sometimes, my advice is look into yourself, but also look around you and see if you can count on your one hand how many people are there for you. If you can't, then you have to stop and look and say, okay, what am I doing wrong or what am I doing right? Because sometimes evil will keep bad people around you, and God will bring good people around you. So with that being said, I want to just show this picture. So I've got my beautiful wife, Nia, on the far left, my beautiful daughter, Naomi, in the middle, me, and that's my son-in-law, Peter, in the back. He's 6'4", 270 pounds, big dude. My daughter's only 5'4", 100 pounds. So it's quite funny. The kids will be beautiful down the road. But I just wanted to thank my wife, my daughter, my son-in-law, because they keep me going every day. And I look to them for guidance. I talk to my son-in-law every day. I'm so happy for my daughter that she's going to marry such a good person. And my wife's been there. This is our 28th year together from the beginning. And she knows everything that I've gone through, and she goes through a lot of stuff with me. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank Peter because he's such a kind person. If something was to happen to me, I know that Peter already has shown the last 3 years that he's going to take care of my daughter. So for a father knowing that someone, in this case, her husband, is going to take care of her, I could rest in peace knowing that because I know the family. And I also wanted to thank his parents, Marta and John. They've been so welcoming. They let us into their life. They're very God-fearing people. Also, their sister, brother-in-law, Jason and Angie, and the kids there, Clara, Madalena, Rosa, and Dominic, and also the grandparents, Mike and Christina, because they've allowed us to come into their homes and have dinner. And then they come to our house and have dinner and Christmas and stuff. And we have this family unit now that we never had because there was so much negativity in my house. I had my brothers and all that kind of stuff, but this stuff we've never experienced because there was just so much violence and so much negativity going on. So they're bringing a really positive light, and they're using it, and they're doing it through God, and they're just wonderful people. And they're the reason that I'm so much calmer nowadays because I know that I have a better family unit around me. And like I said, we are always together and making sure we text each other and call each other. So I just want to say thank you for that. So that's part one there. With that, I want to talk about my teachers. So if anyone hasn't figured out by now, right? My dad, it was his birthday yesterday. He turned 80. I talked to him on the phone. There's going to be in the next part where we talk about coming full circle. Okay. So we'll just leave it at that. I talked to him, wished him happy birthday, and that's that. So anyway, what happened is when I was in elementary school, I talked about it in part one, being bullied and stuff like that. And I also had a learning disability. So Mr. Sikora was the principal in the elementary school. He recognized I had a learning disability in math. So what he had done is he had kept me after school so he could teach me math by flashcards and stuff, and he would drive me home every day. He didn't have to do any of that. Like, think about that, right? So he takes me home and he tells my dad I got a learning disability. My dad's like, oh, I'll fix his disability. I'll give him a couple of smacks and, he'll be fine. I'm thinking, oh, well. Mr. Sikora's like, no, you don't need to smack Daddy. He's got a learning disability. I'm going to help him after school and I'm going to bring him home. With that point, I just want to say without teachers like Mr. Sikora, I wouldn't be here today. I really wouldn't. He just changed my life. And I want to thank Mr. Sikora. He's passed on now. Unfortunately, he was hit by a logging truck on a Forest Service road and killed when he was going up to his cabin, and he wanted to recharge and have a good time. And, and I'm sorry for that. It was a big loss. His funeral had a lot of people. But my point of the story is, even though he's gone, he left such an impact on me and so many other people that I know that it changed our lives. So that's why I became a teacher and a counselor, right? And then there was Mrs. Eunice Sidwell. She was my grade 4 and 5 teacher who was amazing. She gave us the gift of literature. She gave us the book Lord of Flies. She gave us The Outsiders. She also taught us the recorder. The recorder is a version of the flute here in Canada. Music was something that, I love music in general. My favorite thing to listen to, instrument is the piano. Excuse me. My favorite is the saxophone and then the piano. Those two are just speak to my soul. But she taught us that, and she gave us the gift of music because we didn't have that, right? So she's showing us, some culture and stuff. So that's amazing. I want to thank her as well. So now going into high school, we've got multiple teachers that impacted me. And if everyone hasn't figured out, my personality didn't come from my dad or my mom or most of the family. It came from the teachers who really affected me. And I can't thank them enough. And I'm going to go through it because they deserve it. So Mr. Pratt, my grade 8 woodshop teacher, Mr. Todd Pratt, cool guy, used to lift weights and stuff like that. So I meet him, we're just hanging out. And all the class is great. And I loved woodshop. I used to build stuff. I wanted to be a cabinet maker and all of this stuff, right? And I ended up doing that after. But anyway, he had a finger that was amputated by the table saw. And then they stitched it back on, but it was stitched on crooked. So what Mr. Pratt would do is he would come in the class and he'd start off the class with, "Hey, guys, how's it going? Make sure you measure twice, cut once. Also, wear your goggles, your hearing protection, and be safe." And we're like, "Why? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Look at my finger. You can't see. It's crooked, bent this way," because he had cut it off and it was put back on. He had no feeling in it. So anyway, what I'm getting at is he was teaching us in a roundabout way to in life as well. Measure twice, cut once, meaning think about what your decisions are before you make them, and then also look out for everyone else around you, right? He also ended up being my track and field coach, and he didn't care about anyone's, like I said, who they are or what they do or what race or anything like that. He just accepted us for who we were, and we had a wonderful time with him doing track and field and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that brings me to the next group of teachers here. So we've got Mrs. Andrea Vevers. She was my home economics teacher. Wonderful. She taught me tourism. She was an incredible human being. I was a little bit aggressive because I'd been bullied so much and I didn't want to let anyone in. And she taught me the gift of self-esteem. And it's okay for a man of any race or color creed to be sensitive and talk about his feelings. So that's something that was never taught by my parents or anyone else. And it was an eye-opening experience. And Mrs. Vevers, Andrea, she taught me how to cook, and stuff like that. And I would do different things, volunteer work for her, for the school and through her. And she just taught me how to volunteer. So that's something I still do 40 years later. But so she just taught me with so much love, and I have so much respect for people like that. And here's an example of what she taught me, okay? She taught me that it's okay. This is a daycare. I'm playing Santa Claus here. I'm playing Santa Claus for a daycare for underprivileged children. And I was more than happy to do it. And I'm 16 and a bit there. But the kids didn't care that I'm brown. Yeah, so they just wanted to see Santa Claus, right? So that's where I'm going with this. She taught me that as well. It doesn't matter who you are. It's how you treat people and how people perceive you. And these kids, I've given them candy canes. We gave them gifts and stuff. It's one of the most amazing memories I've ever had. So I'm very proud of that. And I continue to dress up as different characters for kids my entire life. So that's pretty cool for me. That's so positive and so much happy to see the kids' joy on their faces, right? And I know the parents and stuff like that. So Santa Claus is one of them. Okay. And then we're going to go to my rugby coaches. Mr. Paul Dunning, tall guy, big guy. So my best friend Herman, who I've talked about in the last 2 episodes, and we had a bit of an attitude, right? We're young. We think we're cool. All right. We think we're cool. We think we're tough. Really. So Mr. Dunning, he's our PE teacher. He's our rugby coach, but he was a high-level wrestling coach, Greco-Roman and freestyle. So when we would have PE class, he'd go, "Hey, Herman, Addie, come here for a second." "What's up, Mr. Dunning?" "Oh, I'm just going to use you. There's 30 students in the class. You use you guys as an example." So he would pick us up, dump us with a suplex, grab Herman, dump him with a suplex, and put him in a chicken wing. Magically, we weren't so tough anymore, right? So he taught us some humility, right? And he also taught us how to train. He was a very good trainer, master trainer like I am. So he taught us how to use the weights and stuff like that safely. He also was our rugby coach, and he was just an amazing coach. He would tape my feet because I had bad ankles. I had broken one ankle and twisted another. So he would tape them up before the games and spend a lot of time with us. So I want to thank him for that. Later on, Herman and I were out partying one night at a club called Roosters in Pitt Meadows, where we grew up, and we saw Mr. Dunning. He had gone through a divorce and some issues. You know, he had been driving under the influence and stuff. It was just a downward spiral. And he got in trouble, so we found out about it, but we saw him at the club, and he's like, "What are you two fucking idiots doing here?" That's exactly what he said. This is how we talked, right? We're like, "We're here to party. What's up, Mr. Dunning?" His name was Paul Dunning. So anyway, long story short, we start partying with him, having a good time, and he's drunk now, right? So we know he's having a tough time. So what we did is Herman and I got the cab for him, paid for the cab, paid for his drinks, and then we sent him home in the cab, and that was the least we could do for him, because of what he's done for us. So thank you, Mr. Dunning. Now, Mr. Rick Yep, he is a Chinese PE teacher. This guy, something else. He was also our rugby coach as well. He taught us that if you lose the match, the rugby match or a boxing match or anything in life, you need to get back up on that horse and keep going, keep trying. However, when you do that, when you lose to someone, in this case, rugby, what you need to do is show humility, respect for the other team and the other coaches. You will go up and shake everyone's hand and thank them for a great match. Congratulations, guys. And then you will go home and work harder to come back and win. So the power of positive energy for sure. So he taught me that. So I have carried that with me my entire life. So that's molding me, right? So now we've got Mr. Gordon Brown. Now this guy is something else. Let me tell you, he's my math teacher. And again, I have a learning disability in math, right? So all this stuff's happening to me, and I'm in his class, Math 10, and I'm just having a tough time. I just can't grip the algebra and the calculus and all this kind of stuff. So he sees that I'm having a tough time and I'm failing, literally. And it's not because of lack of trying, trust me. I just couldn't process math at that time. I'm pretty good at it now, 30 or 40 years later, 35 years later. Anyway, Mr. Brown seen that I was having a tough time, and he talked to me and he goes, "What's going on?" And I said, "Listen, I'm frustrated. I can't get my brain to process this stuff." And then I told him about Mr. Sikora, my principal in elementary, helped me with flashcards and after school. And he goes, "Okay, that's fine. I appreciate you telling me, being honest." This guy was a heavy-duty mechanic in the bush. He was already in his late 50s when he was teaching. He was also a teacher for math. So when he left being heavy-duty mechanic, so he's a hardened guy, right? When you look at him, he's got a beard, and you're like, "Oh, wow, this guy's a bushcrafter, tough guy." But he was the most sensitive, gentle man I've ever met. He said, "Okay, let's do the same thing then. Let's keep you after school." I'm like, "I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't like math. This is retarded. I don't care anymore." He goes, "You better sit down there, young man." Sit down. I'm going to stay with you after school, and we're going to teach you math. You're going to pass. That's the end of the story. So his gentle reminder is that, hey, look, I believe in you. You've got something, and I'm not going to let you fail my class. Those were his exact words. So he stayed with me after school. We did all the math and stuff like that. And the long and the short of it is, I'm never going to be a math teacher. I'm not going to teach calculus, but I passed 52%. So you need 50%. So thank you, Mr. Brown. Caveat to that story. Now, when I started off as a junior officer in corrections, so you guys have state, this is provincial, the same deal. First day on the job, I walk in. Now this jail, it was a very unique jail. It was 2 hours up in the bush. It was a camp jail. You had to be selected to go there. And for me, being hired there was a huge, huge honor. So what had happened is the first day, it takes 2 hours. So we have these gigantic excursions that the province provides for the corrections officers. And you drive into the camp. You sleep in the camp for 4 days, 3 days, whatever your shift is. Nice lodging and stuff like that. There's a school there. We have a hockey arena. Gymnasium. We have a weight gym, cooking shack, the bubble where we do command, and then we've got 5 units. So the first day I'm walking in, kind of nervous. Okay, I'm starting a new job. All these inmates are running around. Oh, who are these new guys? Who are these new screws? Not even a minute goes by. To my right, there's a building which is the education department. Guess who walks by? Mr. Gordon Brown. I haven't seen him since 91. So that's 9 years. He walks by. He looks exactly the same. I'm a little bit bigger now. I'm in my uniform, and he goes, "Adwin?" I go, holy crap, Mr. Brown. We hugged, embraced. It was incredible. He said, wow, I always knew you were going to turn out to be something, Eddie. He said, I can't believe I go, I want to thank you so much for supporting me. I can't believe I run into you, but destiny, God brought us together. Thank you so much for everything. He said, I'm very proud of you, Edwin. I knew you would do it. And what a thing to hear, eh? Because I never heard it from my parents. My mom and dad never hugged me and my brothers, never told us they loved us, never came to our games. It was just like, here's your food and water and kind of deal. And then it is what it is. So when you get that kind of love from someone else, especially a teacher, it molds you, it helps you, it builds you. So that's what it did for me. So thank you to all those teachers. I'm sure there's some that I'm leaving out. Either way, I want to thank all those teachers that molded me to be the person I am today. And I continue in your footsteps, helping others, and I always will. So now I'm a corrections officer. I'm taking all these lessons that I've learned from all these awesome teachers and my own experiences. And what had happened is the first 2 years of my tenure in the corrections, working with youth. I'm certified in adult and youth corrections. I worked in both. So I'm just trying to make an impact, do the best I can, and figure out things. And the other officers are teaching me stuff like that. And this is just want to clarify: this is one of the best jobs I've ever had, and it was because I had a bunch of amazing older officers, senior officers, and some of the junior officers that were actually kind and also wanted to teach us the correct way to treat people, not the wrong way, like what happened with my brother Selvin back in the day with his jail terms. So we don't want to be like that. So thank you to all those officers. So they seen, I talked to them and they seen that I'm an athlete, bodybuilding and all that kind of stuff too. And they were very open to anything that I wanted to do. Now, this jail is very unique. It's on Alouette Lake in Maple Ridge on the other side. So you have to go up the mountain. There's two ways to come. You can come in by boat, which we had 2 boats. And you can come in by SUV, and it's a long 2-hour drive up the mountain. And it was called Boulder Bay Youth Custody Center, province of British Columbia. And it cost $1.2 million a month to run it because it was so far out there, and you have to staff everybody and so on and so forth. But I was very privileged and honored to work there. But what had happened is my senior officers wanted to give these these inmates, residents, something to do as opposed to just sitting around watching TV, getting fat and having bad attitudes, right? Which is what they came in with. So we had a guy named Jack Wilfred. He taught rappelling and climbing. So he would take them and do that. And then we had another officer that would do the sweat lodge for First Nations. But there was missing gaps. We had the lake patrol, which I ended up going on. So we patrolled the lake, but we also take the residents out on the lake and then let them go fishing and stuff like that. So I was allowed to do that, take them fishing and stuff, bring them back, make sure you got your head counts. Okay, great, whatever. But there was missing was the athletics. So I started hockey. So ball hockey, which I've been playing my entire life, road hockey. So we got everybody sticks and we were playing inside the gymnasium, and that was awesome. So we got the cardio sorted out. And then I talked to the chef, and the chef was an awesome guy. So he was willing to accommodate some of the diet stuff. And what had happened is I had gone around to all the units. It's 5 units. So 5 times 5 is what? 35? 35? 5, 5, 30. Yeah, 35. So there's 35 inmates there. And out of the 35, I had 20 sign up for my nutrition, fitness, exercise program, which was the first of its kind here in British Columbia. It was never done before. I had no idea. That wasn't my goal. I just doing what I do, right? I love training. I love athletics. At the same time, I'm still an active bodybuilder. I'm a single parent. I'm an active bodybuilder, and I'm coming up on my state. If for you guys, it would be state championships. Here it's provincial. So I wanted to show these guys that you can have a full-time job. You can be a single parent. There's no excuse for anything. If you want to do something, you go do it. You reach for it. So while I was working 16-hour shifts, dealing with these, high-level inmates and my own family and traveling far to come into work and stuff like that, I dieted down from 250 pounds to 164.5. I won that state or provincial title. I brought that title back to the jail, and I showed them. I won 2 titles that night, actually, best poser as well, best choreography. But I showed all the residents that, hey, look, you can do anything you want to do. You just have to put your mind to it. Whatever mistakes you made in the past, none of us are perfect. You're here now. You're getting the help you need. You're getting counseling. You got school. You got education. You got me. You got all these other officers. So there's no excuse. So that resonated with them. So then They said, okay, sure. We want to do this kind of stuff. I said, sure. So I got permission from the warden and the two top officers. There was a gym in the very back of the gymnasium that we played hockey in. It was a basement dungeon, like beat up. You walk in there, there's all kinds of weights and stuff, but it's moldy on the walls and like just beat up. No one had cared for it for the last 20 years, right? People go in, do a workout, leave, whatever. So I said, okay, can I please get permission to rebuild this gym from the ground up? And that's what I did with the inmates. So what we had done is we got permission, we bought paint, we sanded the whole place down, we painted me and the inmates when I was on shift. Then we took all the weights, sanded them all down, repainted them, and then we got permission from the finance officer to get some new equipment. So they were happy. Wow, we're going to get some new equipment. So we had a treadmill come in and some more weights and stuff. Everything's looking good. I said, there's something missing here. This gym looks neat and tidy, but there's something missing. And all the inmates are like, oh, we know what's missing. So there was this one guy named Zeus. He's half black, half white, tall, big dude. You see him and you're like, whoa, he's just a big dude. But anyway, he was cool. But his talent was tagging. So he'll tag, the walls with whatever his name was, Zeus. He'll put Zeus. And then make pictures and stuff like that. But you shouldn't be tagging property that's not yours. If you want to tag, you should be tagging in your own house or on paper, or something like that, right? You don't go around vandalizing stuff. So that was one of the reasons he was there along with other stuff. So I said, you know what, Zeus? We're going to take your talents and we're going to use them for a positive. Like, what do you mean, Addy? So they called me Mr. K, Mr. Krishna, but I said, whatever, Addy's good, right? So I said, I want you to do some murals. I got permission, again, from the warden, to do some murals so we can motivate each other to train in this gym because we're going to be here for a long time, right? A year and a half before your sentences are up. So they're all excited. All the inmates get together. Yeah, let's paint this, let's paint that, whatever. Everything starts going good. Everything's good. The weights are all done. We rebuild the entire gym. It's awesome. So I had to go down to Vancouver, which is from there 3.5 hours away, to get these special paints and the lids to spray. I'm not an artist, but to spray certain tagging and certain things, whatever. I got it all. He put it on. So I'm going to show you the results of that artwork and the positive energy that came from it. There's one of the inmates there. You see that bodybuilder on the back there? Look at the artwork.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So that's one that they drew. Is that supposed to be you in the back there?
No, we kept it neutral, as in
okay.
Anybody can aspire to be anything. So I let Zeus have free reign because I seen his work. He had a art book. I'm like, you just go for it. So if it was me, I'm honored. Thank you. But no, it was supposed to be neutral for everyone. Here's another one. So you'll see them squatting. You're looking behind there. You can see the artwork on the wall, and all the inmates are training. I'm training them. I'm the one taking the photos. So they're really into it. And just bear with me, guys. Look at this. Look how proud they are. So we took a negative and we turned it into a positive, right? So these guys are now, here's the last one. And this one's amazing. It says, get big.
That's awesome.
So now we took the negative and turned. Sorry, go ahead.
It sounds like you found your true calling when you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, God. So so these guys are now getting motivated. Right now, they know that they made mistakes. They're in jail for a reason. So we're giving them something positive to do, right? We're not trying to turn them into professional bodybuilders, but we're trying to teach them what Mr. Dunning and Mr. Yep, my PE teachers, taught me. Excuse me. If you make a mistake, own up to it, say, I'm sorry, and move forward. You can change. You can also change your mental game. You can change your physical game. In this case, it was training. And all of these guys, I don't know if you noticed in a few of those pictures there, they didn't look like that when I met them, right? They were kind of fat, out of shape, slobby, bad attitudes. Their attitudes changed. I ran that program for a year and a half, and their bodies were changing like crazy. So the caveat to the story is the officers are all really happy. Everybody, their moods are changing. They're feeling better, and that's what we want. Because we didn't have to lock them down unless something bad happened. But you're in jail for a term under 2 years, right? So it's a long term. So we wanted to make sure that they got their rehabilitation, they got their schooling, counseling, but also exercise and health and dietary training, so that when they left, they could go to a better lifestyle, which they did, right? most of them. So what happens is this program has become so successful now. It's never been done in BC. For your state, it would be our province. Never been done. All the other jails for youth now are calling our jail, saying we want to transfer this guy, we want to transfer that guy, and people are hearing about my program. So now we've got all these people calling and saying we want to come in, but we're full, right? We got 35 students. So when one gets released, you get the one in, whatever. So we start getting inmates in. I call students because I've been a teacher for so long. So inmates in, so that they can do the program, my program, and also the other program being in the wilderness, rappelling and rock climbing and all the other awesome stuff, right? So everything's going good. And we're coming to the end of almost 2 years. My warden calls me in. Nice guy, but just pretty straightforward. So he calls me in with the head senior correctional officer. I'm like, oh, wow, what did I do now, right? What did I do? I'm like, everything's going good. He goes, no, he's sitting in his office. You didn't do anything wrong, Eddie. He's got the phone. He's got his phone. He's got someone on the phone, right? I'm like, oh, wow, who's this now? So they go, well, there's someone here that wants to talk to you, Edwin. So I'm like, who could this possibly be? The warden's right here. It's got to be someone higher. I'm like, oh, I'm getting fired. What did I do? Turns out he's got the Solicitor General on the phone. So the Solicitor General here in the province or state here in British Columbia runs all of corrections, police, oversees everything to do with the justice system. So he's on the phone now and he wants to talk to me, right? I'm getting fired by the biggest guy you can get fired by, right? So he gets on the phone and goes, hey, Adam, how are you? It's going good. Sir, what's up? Everything okay? He goes, yeah, everything's amazing. We just want to tell you that you've done an incredible job at Boulder Bay Youth Custody Center. The program is so successful. Everyone around the province wants to come to do it and stuff like that. So that's where the problem is. And when he goes, you haven't done anything wrong. You've done a great job. He goes, however, we are not in the business of producing bigger, stronger, faster criminals, Adwin. So I'm like, I didn't even see it that way. I just saw it as people training and getting in shape and feeling good about themselves, right? So I completely saw his point. So he said, okay, well, we have to shut this program down, Adwin. I'm really sorry. And it broke my heart, but I knew why they were doing it. So as the junior officer, this has never been done before. I got awarded the Provincial Achievement Award. And the junior officers never won it before. And I wasn't trying to win an award, but they awarded me the award for outstanding achievement. And then I shut my program down. But anyway, it was wonderful. But my point of the story is we took a negative, turned it into a positive, right? So like you said, I found my calling. And then after that, the new government came in. Gordon Campbell, he was our next premier. The premier is the same as your governor. So he shut down our jail first because it cost $1.2 million. And then what had happened is the senior officers all got reassigned, which I totally understand. And we were junior officers, right? So they offered me, because I have all these talents, to go up to where I live now, which is 14 hours north of where I used to work and where my parents live in Maple Ridge. But they could only guarantee me one shift at a time. And then another jail called me and said, we want you to come, but they also one shift at a time. At this time, I had 2 young kids, my wife, huge mortgage. So I couldn't leave not knowing that I wasn't going to have full-time work. So I had to decline that. And then that's when I took on full-time. I started armored. I became an armored car guard. So I had, I was carrying up to $2 million a day at that point. I was also bodyguarding in different nightclubs and for people, just to pay the bills, right? Because I couldn't get back into corrections. There was just no work for junior officers that have 3 or 4 years. So I was able to go in and out. But anyway, so that brings me to the next negative to a positive. So if everyone that's watching has remembered part 1, me talking about the bully Chris Grund that beat me so badly I almost died on the Terry Fox run at my high school. And then I was saved by an East Indian guy named Bob here, who's passed on now. He saved my life. That guy, Chris Grund, was very evil. I'm just going to say it. And, it haunted me to this day. However, I had to let some of it go, because if I didn't, it was eating me alive. And the reason it was eating me alive is because I couldn't do anything about it, and no one helped me. My parents, my dad didn't care. He said, "Oh, you probably started it. It's your fault." I'm like, "Okay, that's wonderful." And Chris said, "I want you to die. You're a dirty Hindu. I want you to die." I'm thinking, what does that even, you know what I mean? But I'm a nice person, blah, blah, blah. Fine. So, full circle, I now sign up to go to the Justice Institute, which is in New Westminster, BC. So that's about an hour away from Maple Ridge, where I grew up. And this is a gigantic academy for police, corrections, armored car, bodyguarding, security, and so many other courses. So I sign up there. I'm a student there now, taking this 4 month course to be in adult corrections, right? And then I also took my youth corrections there. I took my federal firearms training there, my bodyguarding there, my security there, my armored car guard, and my first aid for people who have been shot or stabbed. All of that wonderful stuff. But anyway, I'm in the course for 4 months. I think there was about 28 of us or something, 26, 28. Everything's going good. We meet the teacher. She's really nice. Okay, great. And we're sitting around and start talking about each other, get to know each other. And then this girl is beside me. She's a really nice lady, brown hair. I forgot her name, but she was really nice. And we got to know each other and stuff like that. I got to know a lot of the students. Turns out we start talking about my high school and her high school and stuff. And I talk about getting bullied. And she says, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that," and stuff like that. Turns out she's married to Chris Grund, my high school bully. Now, is that coming full circle or what? How could I possibly know that, eh? I'm stunned. And she's like, I'm like, Chris Grund from Pitt Meadows? Yeah, tall guy, blonde. Oh, he's the sweetest man I've ever met. We have 2 children. And she's sweet. I just can't get mad at her, upset. So I tell her the story. She's like, no, there's no way my husband did that. So this is a 4 month course. We had a lot of time to talk about it. She goes back home and talks to him, but he denies the whole thing, right? Finally, I guess she keeps asking and whatever. And I guess he admits it. So she's like, there's no way. So here's what I'm going with this, people that are out there listening to the story. Even though I was almost killed by this guy, Chris Grant, her husband, I saw the light in her, which was so beautiful. She was such a sweetheart. And I forgot her name and I apologize. They had 2 beautiful children together. Something came over me and said, you need to forgive this guy, man. He's got a beautiful family now. He's got 2 kids. Yes, he tried to kill you and made your life horrible. But listen, what am I going to do? Go beat the shit out of him? And now I have jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. I can kick the crap out of him if I want to. Turns out we go to the Christmas party, which was just after graduation. He's sitting there on the other side of the bar, and his wife's with us. So there's like 28 of us. We're all celebrating. And I look at him. He looks at me. He puts his head down. And in that moment, all these feelings came back to me, like what he had done to me. And I was standing on the ground. My left eye, if you see me twitching here and there, I'm sorry. It's because he kicked the eye so bad. This orbital broke. This eye doesn't track properly. And all of my jaw was broken, my ribs, all this stuff, concussion. He had steel toes on when he was kicking me, right? Stomping on me. All this stuff's coming through. And I'm thinking, I should just beat the shit out of this guy. And something came over me again. No, Eddie, this isn't the right way. You need to take the road. So clearly that was God talking to me, right? Or the angels. What I chose to do was just look at him, and I waited around for him to come up and say, I'm sorry. He never took the opportunity to say, I'm sorry. So that's fine. But what I did is I forgave him. In that moment, I forgave him, and I continued on with my party. I said goodbye to his wife and all the people there, and I moved on with my life. And that was the best decision I ever made. The reason for that is if I beat the crap out of him, I know how to really fight now. I could have killed him in reverse, so that would have accomplished nothing, right? So I just want to say to people out there, if something like that's happening to you, you're being bullied, talk to someone, get some help. There's people like Cody, there's people like me. You're not alone, and we want to make sure that you get the help you need. And the bullies that are out there, stop doing that, okay? Go to the gym, go take martial arts, do something, but don't hurt people. There's absolutely no need for it. You don't know the effect it has on people 30 years later, 20 years later. We're trying to have families and live our lives too, okay? So please and thank you. Don't bully people, no matter who you are. So time goes on, and I continue on with all my projects and stuff, again, turning negatives to positive. And that'll bring me to the next story. Sorry, Cody, I'm going to give you a chance to... Sorry, I apologize. I should have given you a chance to talk there. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like just the fact that you're able to be in the same room as that guy and, forgive him, that takes great strength. You know what I mean? So I don't think a lot of people would be able to control themselves to not act violently, and I
Yes,
know
I
a lot
agree.
of time had passed, but still, I mean, he caused great damage. So um, that's, yeah, I think that's part of a healing journey, right? So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the message I want to get across. violence, it happens. We have to defend ourselves, whatever. But I don't think it's the answer. I mean, I'm going to talk about some more violent stuff. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's the answer. And it shouldn't be put on someone in that state. So if you can forgive someone, forgive yourself first, love yourself, find out who you are, you know, and then make sure you spread that joy around you as well. And you'll find that the rewards are better because you'll be a better person. Because I held that stuff in for so long, right? And I'm still carrying the battle wounds from that. And I'm 52. I'll be 53 next Sunday. So I'm still carrying it to 40 years later, right? So just want to make
Wow.
sure people understand that. Yeah, you're carrying it around, right? But I had to forgive him that day in order for me to continue because it was eating me alive, literally, right? So I want to make sure people understand that I forgave him and I wish her the best. And I seen the light that was coming from him. It was so positive. She's an amazing human being. She's got 2 kids with this guy. So anyway, moving forward. Sorry, was there anything else, Cody?
No, I was going to tell you, you mentioned your
Yes.
birthday is coming up. I was going to tell you happy belated birthday, or not belated, happy early birthday.
Thank you
Um,
very much. Yeah, we got it coming up next July 5th. I was born in
yeah,
73 in Fiji, like I said, so I'm really happy about that because I'm still here, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
My wife's throwing us a party. We got a bunch of friends and family coming over to my yard here where we live, and it's going to be an awesome time. So thank you for the wishes. I appreciate that.
yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for giving us your time and sharing your story
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely. So I'm going to continue now, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everyone. So we'll get into me now going into high schools and elementary schools teaching anti-bullying seminars. Now, I started this program on my own um, because of what had happened to me and other people that I know, but mine was a very serious, violent one. So I don't want anyone to go through that, boy or girl. Just not going to happen on my watch. So I want to show you guys the 2 gentlemen that I selected to come on this journey with me. Um, the guy in the middle is Kevin Maitland. I went to high school with him. He is a national level soccer player, good friend of mine. He was a good friend of Herman's too. We all trained together, me, Herman, and this guy, Kevin Maitland. Okay, he's a high level soccer player. And the guy with the mohawk on the far side, his name is Mike Heatfield. He is one of the world champions, ISKA kickboxing champions. This guy is incredible. He's got incredible belts, incredible story. The story for him and I is we were both tough guys, in Pitt Meadows. And one night we were in a nightclub together, and everyone's like, "Oh, Adwin and Addy and this guy Mike should fight and see who wins." Because I have jiu-jitsu and some kickboxing and whatever, and he's a world champion, right? So here's another negative to a positive. We're in the bar, we're having drinks. He stares at me, I stare at him, and I don't know what it was for both of us. Something came over us. Instead of fighting, we went up to the bar together, and I said, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey, good, man. How you doing?" We shook hands. I'm Addy. He goes, "I'm Mike Heatfield." Awesome. I go, "I've heard a lot about you," and he said, "I learned about you as well." So it turned out that he's an awesome guy, and I'm not a dickhead either. We had drinks, we had a wonderful time, and it turned out he was an amazing guy. So his reputation didn't precede him, and neither did mine. So clearly something intervened, and we became so close after that. I just admire him and his story. So this is a picture of us at my son's school, starting the anti-bullying seminars, and this is something I do to this day still. So there's me, Kevin, and Mike Heatfield, the world champion kickboxer, and those are some of my trophies. And he's got some of his world championship belts there. Like, what a cool thing. You've got a world champion kickboxer coming to talk to you. It's not some joker off the street, right? You got a national pro level bodybuilder like me, and you got a national soccer player like Kevin coming to talk to you, right? So this is just to clarify, we had pre-approval from the principal and my son's teacher because, again, bullying is unfortunately out there, right? So we have to find some way to try and deal with it, talking about it, and also demonstrating, what can happen and things that have happened to us. So here's a picture of us teaching. I think there was 150 students that day in the school. And what they took away from that is that, hey, look, you need to talk to someone if you're getting bullied. You also need to know that you're not alone, even though it feels like it at the time. You can talk to a teacher, talk to a parent, talk to a friend, talk to us, talk to the police, whoever you have to. But you need to also understand that there's going to be a time one day, unfortunately, if you have to defend yourself, you must do that, either through martial arts, self-defense courses, whatever, verbal, non-verbal, hey, look, stop. So we're teaching some of the basic stuff like that, to be confident, look the person in the eye and stand up to them without using violence. But if it comes to violence, you need to be able to defend yourself in a safe way. And who better than the world champion of kickboxing, right? It's an amazing guy. Um, so that went off really well, and we continued to do that. And Mike, we had reference letters, and he had never had a reference letter like that because he was known as the bad guy, which he wasn't. He had been in fights just like I have. That doesn't make us bad. So it changed his outlook on life, and it's changed mine, and same with Kevin's. And I know Kevin still to this day. Unfortunately, Mike after that had a heart attack and passed away. And that was a very tough thing for me because we just started to get to know each other. But I just want to say to Mike, thank you very much for coming with me on that journey and helping so many people. Even though you had some demons and things bad happen to you, doesn't matter. I love you. And people like you, we need to pass on the positive energy. So turning a negative to a positive again, okay? Okay. So let's start with this. This is Team Hero. HERO, team I started in 1996. I was the manager of a gym called Monkey Fitness. My friend Chet from high school, he opened it. And I was a head trainer and one of the managers. And I seen that there's so many, because I've been through it, so many people that are on the street causing fights, just doing drugs, doing dumb stuff. So I talked to my two friends, Chet, the owner, and said, hey, listen, and my other two natural bodybuilding friends, Jason and Jamie Gallant, great guys, great natural bodybuilders. We formed the unit together. And what we did is we put ads out there and we talked to people and said, we're going to do a free training program 2 times a week at this gym. And Chet let us do it. Thank you, Chet, at his gym. But what we want you to do is we want you to bring in canned food or non-perishable items as the payment. Please and thank you, which is in turn going to be put into the food bank to help underprivileged children and families, right? So we want to make sure everyone benefits. So we had a huge 20 people coming, and we started training these guys, and and they stopped doing the drugs and or partying, and they started changing their lives, and we were really happy about it. And the newspaper came, and it was a big deal, and thank you to all the coverage, and that went on. It's still going on to this day. I still train people, still work with kids, but it's not as prevalent. It's just really hard because I live so far away. But we still try. That was an awesome program, and those guys are all still there. Everything's okay. However, in the middle of this photo is Denzel. He's an African-American black guy, awesome athlete. But what had happened is he was starting to get really famous in track and field and stuff like that here in British Columbia. And he had made some money, and he had bought a motorbike. And him and my friend Chris Pearson from high school were riding together. And unfortunately, he got into an accident, and he posted his leg on the ground and broke his leg, flipped over, and was killed that day. And what I'm trying to get at is we gave him as much positive energy as we could. He made a choice, and unfortunately he passed away, and he was a great athlete. So what I'm saying is there's potential for everyone to be great in many ways, as a human being, as an athlete. We remember him still. He was an awesome guy. He didn't do anything wrong. He was never negative. He was always positive. So I want to remember him for that. He worked really hard, and so did the other students at that time. But my point is we continued that program, and then we kept it in his honor as well because of the fact that he had passed away, and the team was very upset. We went on to go do bodybuilding shows and stuff and teach these students. And one guy that we had, Alvin Ram, he'll be in another story later. He's like a cousin. His dad and my dad came to Canada together. That was the last funeral I attended. I told you about Uncle Danny. His son was 390 pounds, fat, obese. Like he was going to have a heart attack, and he's 6'4". So in the 6 months that I ran the program straight at Chet's gym, I got him down to 189 pounds with his top 2 abs. So that's what, a 200-pound loss? Yeah, 200-pound weight loss. He turned into a different man. He felt confident. He was insecure. He was depressed. So now he feels confident. So just tons of stories like that, Cody, that warm my heart to this day. And those people all now have families and stuff like that. And it's awesome. And another story quickly, I'll just share with you. I just remembered is when I was in corrections, I had so many different inmates come. And I've seen a few of them on the outside, and they've all come up to me and said, hey, Admin, Mr. K, thank you for your help. I really appreciate it. And, it was meant a lot to me, and I'm doing better now. So that was really cool to hear, right? I had this one time where I had broken down in Coquitlam, BC. It's about an hour from where my dad lives in Maple Ridge. And I needed a tow truck. So this guy comes up, me and my buddy are waiting. My car broke down. So this guy's hook. He goes, hey, how's it going? I go, good, great, whatever, no problem. Hi, bye. And he starts hooking my car up. He goes, you don't remember me, do you? I'm like, I'm sorry. I apologize. What's your name? And he told me his name. And He goes, "You don't remember me, do you?" I go, "I'm sorry, bro. I'm just being honest." He goes, "You're Mr. K, right?" I go, "Yes, I'm Mr. K." He goes, "I was in your jail. I took your program, the fitness program. You made such an impact on my life that I got my life together. I have 2 kids. I'm married now, and I'm a tow truck driver. Thank you so much." Like that's those kind of stories. It just doesn't happen. I mean, you turning lives around, right? And this is so random. Like, how did that happen, right? Just like the last story with the corrections, sorry, the bully. I didn't know he was a tow truck driver, but obviously I'm happy for him. So congratulations, right? That's the kind of impact people like the good teachers, you, me, can have on other people. I'm so proud to be one of those people. So now we're going into me working in some more group homes in between here. I'm just gonna give me 1 second. So now I'm working for this company here called Burnaby Association for Community and Inclusion. So we're dealing with kids or students that have Down syndrome, autism, fetal alcohol spectrum, ODD, ADHD, ADD, violent in general, and they can't be managed at home. So they have to come to our program for 8 hours a day. So what I did is I started working for them, and I'm like, I have all these skills. Let's do it, right? So they give me, usually because I'm the big guy with all these skills, I get 6 to 8 of these guys and girls, and some of the other senior staff get one. So they're like, "Oh, you can handle it." And I'm like, "Okay, sure, whatever." So this is a very, very dangerous thing. I've got them in my own minivan, which holds 8 people, right? So it's me and 6 or 7 other in the back. Not all of them are violent. Let me clarify that. Some of them are very docile, very amazing. They're all human beings. I get it. So some of them, though, when they get agitated, especially the autism people, they start biting their hands. And they start swinging and swaying, and they start screaming, and you can't believe the scream. Your ears almost go deaf while you're driving. You're trying to focus on driving. While I'm driving the car down the highway with these students, I'll stop. Rush hour is very bad in Vancouver and Burnaby, where we're working at this time. So I'll stop and I'll say, "Okay, guys, everything's okay." Then some of them are getting antsy. And all of a sudden, the side door, there's 2 doors that open on both sides. Slide door opens up. And now I've got 2 students running down the highway. But not only are they running down the highway, they're running down the highway naked. So the autistic people, the ones that I work with, especially the violent ones, when their temperature goes up too high, they want the clothes off and they just want to be cooled down. People don't understand that about autistic people. So now I've got one student running one way, naked, in the middle of the highway, and one running the other way, naked. So now I've got to park the car on the side and, rattle these guys, round all these guys up. And wow, what a chore that was, eh? So they're screaming and yelling and going on. I get one at a time, get them dressed up again and put them back in the car. And like, oh, wow, this is retarded. I got to do something about this. I can't be driving around going to the parks and all this. This happened on a Sky Train, which is like a shuttle that takes people around to different stops, right? It happened naked. They're running around screaming. Happened on a public transit bus with old ladies, right? I'm like, oh, my. So I go to my superiors and I say, "Listen, I need to do something different with these students." And because they're just getting agitated and they're acting up, and this isn't going to work. We can't do this in public, right? Police are getting called and stuff like that. It's like child abuse. And then I show them that I'm a teacher and nobody's getting abused here. This is just their behaviors, right? Because people would call the police on me all the time. And I'm like, "You don't even know I have to file here. I'm working with these students and you don't even know. You're blaming me, and I'm trying to save them and I'm trying to take care of them. No one else wants to do this job. I'm doing it." So anyway, I go to my superiors and I'm like, "I got to find something else to do with these guys because they're just too agitated." And I had figured out from experience, a lot of my managers never worked on the line. They just became managers, and I've done it all. So I've seen their behaviors and I know what's going on, right? So the long and the short of it is I said, "Okay, I need permission to take them on long walks." So when you take people that are autistic or with Down syndrome or fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, when you put them in nature, they're seeing birds and animals, and it's more quiet. And then you're talking to them and they're walking and you give them a little bit of space and you come back and talk to them and you go back and forth. So I would go on walks for them for like 2 hours, 3 hours at a time. We didn't have a lot of fun. So I had to do what I had to do. So I told them I got approved. We'd go for long walks. And then after the long walks, I would take them to the gym. Now I'm taking them to the rec center. And again, these are some of these guys and girls that are the ones that jump around, scream, and get naked and stuff like that. So now I've got that under control. I'm like, "You guys want to do this program? You have to behave yourself and you have to make sure that you respect other people. I'm teaching them the basics, of life skills." So you can't be running around naked so I've got 6 or 8 at a time. So now I'm going to the gym and I'm training them one-on-one in the gym, and people are looking at me like, because I've got Down syndrome people with me. I've got um, fetal alcohol, and I've got autism. People are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm a teacher. I'm just whatever." So long story short, I trained them for 3 months, and I showed them every piece of equipment after doing the long walks. These guys and girls now are starting to put lean muscle on, eh? They're going home feeling better about themselves. They're more relaxed. They're calmer. And me, I'm just overjoyed because now I don't have to deal with the police no more and the public, in a negative way. So we turned a negative to a positive. So what had happened is they were going and to the gym and feeling positive, happy, going home happier, and they're putting lean muscle on. And I had changed their diets a little bit as well. So that was an awesome story. And that worked out really well for that part of it. And what had happened is everyone got wind of it and they had found out. And then the internal newspaper for that company, BACHI, the Burnaby Association for Community Inclusion, they did a massive story on me. And I said, thank you very much. It's not about me, it's about the students. And I'm just doing it so that they have an outlet, right? But I'm honored that they did the stories on me in the newspaper and all that kind of stuff came. It was wonderful. But again, it's not about me, it's about the students. But thank you for the recognition. Again, turning negative to a positive, right? There's always a way. I always try to find a way. Even if I fell down, I'm walking down the street, I fell down and broke my leg, I would get up, and if someone was beside me, I'd say, "Hey, how you doing, man?" That's just ingrained in me. Whatever happens to me doesn't give me the right to be negative to others. I shouldn't be negative to others. I should still stop and say, "How would I want to be treated? Why don't I put myself in his or her shoes?" So I keep that with me always, right? So I just want to make sure that when we see someone that's got a disability or they have some issues, they may not be who you think they are, right? So we're not going to just sit here and judge everyone. Now, if someone comes up to you and starts punching you in the face, I mean, that's a different story, right? We've got a serious situation, right? I want to make that clear. But we want to give people the chance to show themselves and to express themselves, right? I'm now on Cody's show expressing myself, and I'm so grateful you wouldn't believe it. So I want to make sure that everyone else has the chance to do that too, right? So we're turning negatives into a positive, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I wanted to tell you guys another story. This one is a little bit more emotional, a little bit more violent, but it needs to be told. When I was working, sorry, Cody, you were going to say something. I apologize.
Oh, no, I was just listening to you.
Okay, thank you. So this story here is when I was a bodyguard, I worked in multiple nightclubs, right? I was the head of security in multiple nightclubs, and we seen a lot of stuff like stabbing, shootings, people getting stabbed with beer bottles. Like, it was crazy. But I had to feed my family and pay my bills. So I put myself in the line of fire, excuse me, because corrections wasn't viable at that time. So I'm working at this in Vancouver, downtown Vancouver, which is the big city with all of the big shopping centers and the skyscrapers and all that. So Vancouver, Trump Towers is there. It's just so you get a understanding, big city. That's where all the big nightclubs are. So there's a street called Granville Street. It's where the entertainment district is. So now, when I'm working at these nightclubs, the government is now giving all these nightclubs the ability to open till 5 a.m. Our normal time is 2 a.m. For nightclubs, and for pubs, 1 a.m. So now they're trying to test this in the district that's entertainment district. They're trying to test it so that they can open up tourism, more people can spend money, and the businesses will prosper. Great, wonderful. But they're not thinking about nothing good. Remember this, everyone. Nothing good happens after 11 p.m. Okay, that's my rule. Nothing good happens after 11 p.m. So imagine people drinking, partying, doing drugs, whatever, till 5 a.m. You're gonna get nothing but the kooks and the ones that can't control themselves. We call them hooligans. And then it did pay to be true there. It ended up being true. There was one night I'm working in the club, and from the main road, Granville Street, you have to go down the stairs to our club called the Cellar. We hold about 180 people. There's a couple of people being rowdy and stuff like that. And this is now, 2 a.m, and we're still open until 5. So we got 3 hours to go, and everyone's getting drunker and drunker and drunker and more aggressive and aggressive. There's nightclubs all over the place. So one guy, East Indian guy, he's running around bumping people and pushing people and threatening people and stuff like that. And I go up and talk to him. Hey, man, what's going on? Fuck you, this and that. I'm going to do this. And then he goes, I'm going to put you in a fucking dumpster. You'll be dead by tonight. I'm thinking, oh, okay, no problem. I'm like, you need to settle down. Take it easy. Stop doing that. This is your only warning, right? So I gave him that warning. He started doing it again. I gave him another warning. And then I talked to the head doorman that night, and he says, okay, what do you want to do? I said, I want to remove this guy. So I just go up and talk to him and go, hey, man, you can't be threatening people, pushing people, throwing glasses around, acting rough and tough, and, threatening staff too. So I escorted him up the stairs, out the stairs, upstairs onto the Granville Street, Main Street. I go, it's time for you to go. I walk him out. He turns around and starts swinging at me now. He's swinging at me. I'm moving. And I reacted like I'm supposed to react. I grabbed him, tossed him up against there's a light pole there, and he's still threatening me and stuff like that. Just to make sure, I've got my tag here that says seller, staff. So I'm trying to manipulate this guy on the thing and calm him down and say, you got to go, blah, blah, blah. He's threatening me more. All of a sudden, I feel this gigantic hand on my head and neck. And then this person is pulling me now. Turns out that this 6'5", 300-pound red-headed staff sergeant from Vancouver Police Department thinks I'm a hooligan. So he starts roughing me up, pulls me away, throws me against the wall. And that guy runs away. So now I'm the bad guy. He runs away like a little, you know what? This guy's roughing me up. I'm like, bro, hey, calm down. I'm staff. He's threatening people. I'm explaining it. He's like, I don't give a shit. You can't fight on my streets and blah, 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 blah. And he's going off on me. I'm like, listen, self-defense. I had to remove him from the club, blah, 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 blah. So I'm facing the street. Okay, so I'm facing the street and the opposite nightclubs. This jackass, the tall sergeant, is facing the building, which is away from the street. He can't see what's going on. I see that beside him is this little short 5'3" officer, his partner, short little Italian guy. He's not saying anything. He's just watching this guy rough me up. I'm like, stop. You need to stop, man. Whatever. Back off. So as this is going on, me and him are going back and forth, the staff sergeant and I. Across the street, 2 nightclubs empty. It's now almost 3 a.m. 2 nightclubs empty. And what I mean by empty is the brawl that had happened inside both nightclubs came onto the street. So now there's 2 clubs fighting each other. Like I'm talking, like people are getting smashed. And I'm like, oh, wow, right? So we've got people here. We're holding them back. The officer's still giving me shit. The little officer, the Italian officer, runs over. I guess he thought him against 50 people was going to work. He gets KO'd. Bang! KO'd by one guy. I'm watching this, and this jackass is still facing, the sergeant is still facing my building, my club. He gets KO'd, goes down, hits his head. I'm watching this in real time. 2 guys get on top of him, start feeding him shots, elbowing, kicking him. I go, you know what? I got pushed the staff trying to go fuck yourself. Get out of here. And I just reacted. So something came over me, said, save this guy. Save him. He's going to die. I ran over. I KO'd the one guy. The other guy put his hand on the gun, unholstered it, and was pulling it to shoot him. I clobbered that guy, and I grabbed the cop. I go, I'm staff. I work at the cellar. He says, his nose is over here. He's cut up, lips open here. He's been stomped. He's just done. He can't even talk. Please, help me. I've got kids. I've got a family. Please help me. So I pick him up, and across the way, there's the 3 nightclubs, and then there's one little boutique store, and it's got a little alcove where the door is. So I threw him in there, and I stood in front of him while people were still trying to fight us, and I was fighting these guys off. Now this staff sergeant turns around and sees what's going on after all this has happened. This guy's behind me holding my shoulders, trying to stand up. Please help me. He doesn't even know that he almost got shot and he's KO'd. He's done. So finally he comes and a bunch of other come. Then all my team comes out. And then we started evening the odds. And what happens is we call the ambulance and stuff. We get this guy help. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, no problem. Guess who wants to be my friend now? Staff sergeant comes over and goes, oh, wow. What's your name? I go, Addy Hadwin. He goes, you did an amazing job. I want to thank you, and wonderful, and whatever we can do to help you. I'm thinking you were just trying to beat me up over there. So turned a negative to a positive. We saved the officer's life. The club knew what was going on, and the staff sergeant took me to his personal cruiser, which had supervisor. put me a warm jacket. It started raining. He's my friend now, and we had to do the witnesses and stuff. They brought the two guys up, and they caught them. The paddy wagons came, and everything got cleaned up. And it's now almost 5 a.m. I still got to go in and do my job. Right, I've taken a couple shots here and there in that fight, but I had no choice because something told me to save this guy's life. Turns out I was right. He happened to be a cop, but he had a family and kids, so I did the right thing. So I'm proud of that. Go back in the nightclub. I've got to clear the nightclub now with the rest of the team right after we've been fighting. So adrenaline's going. My manager runs up and goes, "Oh my God, Eddie, that was incredible. I've never seen anything like that." I'm like, "That's cool, man. Awesome. Great. I'm trying to come down." Right. Gives me a couple tequila shots. I'm like, "Okay, thanks, man." So then turns out that the officers came back the next. I had to take a couple shifts off because I had cracked one of my knuckles in my hand. So I I had to take it, and I had gotten hit. I didn't know. So I took a few days off, and the officers came back and thanked us, me, and the rest of the club, and said we really appreciate it, and you saved our life. And one of those things. Sometimes you react. I know God has given me some gifts for sure. Um, he gave me the gift of gab for sure, but he also gave me the gift of love. He also gave me the gift, the ability to detect bad energy and to see things and react very fast. Like I was telling you earlier, is I'm a B positive blood type, and B positive blood types react fast. That's just who we are. We think, we process. We also see things fast. We apparently have the fastest processing brains on the planet. B positive people are 7% of the population of Canada, so very kind of rare. So that takes me to the point that I was talking about earlier. We wanted to do a poll of all of the Cody's guests, previous guests, and anyone that wants to be involved are more than welcome to do it. Is we want to see what your blood type is. Mine's B positive. Just to do a poll to see if it correlates to you seeing a Bigfoot like I have, multiple, or paranormal like I have, or dogman like I have. Correlate the blood types to see if there's some attraction or if our theory holds true. So if you're interested, you can get a hold of Cody and he'll let you know how. But back to the story, my B positive blood type just enables me to make fast decisions faster than other people do. And when I'm driving, like all these stories I tell you, I see stuff before like it happens. It's hard to explain. I've always been like that. So that's kind of where we are right now. And the last story I wanted to share quickly is very life-changing story. So I'll let Cody talk if he wants to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate just appreciate the story, Addie. I mean, you know with bodyguarding, and you also did like armored security for carrying cash around and stuff. I mean,
Yes.
we've seen a lot of things that most people don't normally see. A lot of violence, and I just appreciate you sharing that story with us. And sounds like you should be blessed every day that you're still here, because it sounds like
Yeah.
so much that
Exactly.
you've dealt with, man. And yeah,
Yeah.
the blood type thing. I think we're going to try to put a poll up um, either today or tomorrow. We'll put a poll up on our uh, YouTube channel, and you guys let us
Yes.
know what you think. Kind of let us know. We're trying to see if there's any research behind that, or any kind of common ground to see really what the correlation could be, if there's any. So
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
a good
And
idea.
yeah. And thank you, Cody. And another thing about that is the be positive thing for me is my entire life. I've said this in the last 2 episodes that animals come up to me, wild animals, normal animals, and they want to say, "Oh, I've never seen a dog do that. I don't know why, but they come lick me to death." People come talk to me, tell me their whole life story in the store. Mosquitoes bite me to death, guys. You wouldn't believe it. No matter what medicine I got on me, you kill. They unbelievable. It's like they're trying to kill me. And then bees bite me. So my blood clearly has something in it. So I'm wondering if that may be some of the attraction to the dog man and the paranormal and Bigfoot and all the other stuff that's happening. It's possible. I don't know. I'm just throwing a theory out there. I'm also ambidextrous, left and right-handed. Eh? So I don't know. Maybe they sense it. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But I just thought I'd throw that out there. And if you're okay with it, I'm going to end with one last story that really changed my life.
Yeah.
So we're in high school. We're still in. This is going back in high school. And this one story I wanted to share is I'm having tough times in high school, getting bullied, all that kind of stuff. And I have friends from elementary that are still supporting me. I thank them for that. Made some new friends and stuff, but it's hard, tough time. So anyway, not really a lot of people can understand what I'm going through, but this one girl, Sherry, she had moved from a different city. She had gone through some similar stuff, and she had moved to our school and living there now. And we met in homeroom, and I just want to say that she was one of the most sweetest, coolest people I could talk to about anything. She could talk to me about anything. We became very good friends, and I really appreciated her. Her name is Sherry. What had happened is we were getting along, talking, and everything was going good. Her life was going good, and it's not a negative per se, but what had happened is she had gone out one night with our friend Eric and Dana, and they had Dana had a very high powered Mustang, LX V8, very powerful, good driver. But in Pitt Meadows, where we're from, there's one railroad track that crosses across, and the people for some reason try to rush with the lights, so they're trying to pass it. Unfortunately, one night they were out, and they did the exact same thing. They tried to run the train crossing, but the train hit them so hard the car ripped in half, and they were all thrown away, and they all passed away. And my friend Sherry passed away that day, and it was very, very tough for me because we had just started becoming friends and had so much in common. They brought counselors into this to the school and stuff to counsel us, and it was okay. But I just felt this empty hole, and a lot of people don't know this story. I'm just sharing it because it might help someone, because it helped me. So the counseling wasn't working for me. Very upset. Um, so what happened? I don't know how this happened. I'm to this day, but I think maybe clearly now I can see hindsight 2020. But God said, come and see me. I'm just going to put it in those terms. I've never been to a church before that. I've always believed in higher powers, right? But my dad was anti-God. Still is. There's no God. Can't see him. Whatever. Fine. Whatever. Everyone has their opinion. So I lost now. My friend's gone, and I've gone through all this stuff. I'm like, what else could possibly happen to me, right? So I go into this church in Maple Ridge by myself. I didn't tell anybody. I open the door. There's nobody in there. I walk into the church, and I'm looking around because I haven't gone to a church before, right? I'm 16-ish. I walk into the church, and oh my word. I walked in, and I passed like the fourth set of chairs, and I just stopped, and I was looking around at the pew and all of the things that were in there because I'm not used to it. And I don't know what happened there, but this energy came from the front of me down to my feet and behind me. And for some reason, I don't know how to explain it. All my pain that in that moment was gone. And that was the most peaceful I've ever felt in my entire life. I'm telling you, it was the most incredible experience I've had. So clearly God reached me, and the angels and stuff like that. It cleansed me. And I was, the feeling I got was, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Believe in me and believe in yourself. And that changed me. That was an epiphany for sure that day. But the energy that I felt, I never felt it. The only other time now, like I said, I'll be 16. I'm 52 now. The only other time I felt that energy where I was cleansed and I didn't have a care in the world was I took my wife, my son, and my daughter to Kelowna, where my daughter's getting married. It's about 10 hours from where I live, and from the coast, it's about 6 hours. But there's a place called Peachland, and you can go on these ATV tours, ATV and side-by-side tours. And beside that place is a zip lining place. So there's 14 stations you can go on, and you zip line. But at that time, and I'll get into the story later, I had a bad knee, and I'll get into that later. So I was limping around, and I finished all the stations. But the last station, Cody, the last station is over a gorge. And this apparently is the highest gorge and the widest gorge at 500 feet, and so many thousand feet down, in North America, is what I was told, and Canada for sure. But what the instructors want you to do is you have to go over the gorge upside down. So I'm now with my helmet on. My son's gone, my daughter's gone, my wife's gone, hanging upside down, like my head right down, like I'm talking fully down. Your feet are on the zip line, and they push you, and you go. It's on an angle, so you're sliding down like this to the other side. It's like 500 feet. And the first thing was, I'm like, I'm gonna crap my pants. But then this feeling came over me, and it was the same feeling that I felt in the church that day. Excuse me. It was the most peaceful feeling. I felt the energy from my feet all the way come out, negative energy, excuse me, from my feet, come all the way out my head and out. And when I floated across to the other side of the canyon gorge, I was the most cleansed and happiest I've ever been up until that time in the church. So I think God was with me there too, saying, hey, listen, I got your back. You're not going to fall. You can do this. And I did it. And I felt so cleansed after that. It was incredible. Really was incredible. So on that note, I just wanted to make sure that I show people this. So in episode 1, I talked about being thrown across my living room. This is the picture of my right wrist after I was thrown and I hit the floor. I hit my head and I was like, what the hell's going on? I looked at my wrist, and this symbol was burned into my wrist with heat. Can you guys see that? Can you see it, Cody?
Yep, I can see it pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy, that story.
so that symbol, if you can see it, was burned into my right arm, right wrist, excuse me, and it resembles a Nazi swastika. And also in the Hindu religion, which is part of our religion, is meant for peace. So the Nazis used it for evil. I don't know what happened that day, but it stayed and it burned and it hurt like hell for 7 days straight. And then it just faded away. That's why I took a picture, because people wouldn't believe it. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, that I said that story in the beginning, and that's the proof of it. So if I am marked for death, let me just tell you, death, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to help people. I'm going to help my family. I'm going to love. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to live. I'm not perfect, but you want to try me? I'm here, and I'm going to stay positive, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to help as many people as I can. I love God. I love everyone. I love animals, and you're not going to win. So that's why I wanted to end the story with that. I turn a negative into a positive.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love your faith. And yeah, we just appreciate you being on here. And I know we've agreed the next episode 4, we're gonna do next week. And
Yes.
we're gonna wrap this thing up and
Yep.
kind of get to the tie it all together. It's a lot to
Yes.
share, and I'm glad we're able to do this over several episodes.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
I hope everybody's enjoying it as much as I am, and I appreciate you just being here with us.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. And next week, when I come back on, I'll tie the story together. It'll be about an hour and a half or so. We'll wrap it up. There's a lot to talk about, but I'll bring into light the Bigfoot, the dog man, paranormal, and all the energy and stuff like that that's been happening to me right up until this day. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Cody. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for the support.
So, what you guys think about that? Spoke to Addy. He's just got such an amazing story. A lot's happened in his life. He's lived probably 50 lifetimes with all the things that have happened to him. The different things, it's not always about just Bigfoot and Dogman and paranormal stuff. It's kind of about the experience of life. And he's had so much supernatural and so many things that, um, you see on the news happened in his life and around his life. And so it's fascinating to hear that. You heard him. We're going to actually wrap it up next week with our episode 4. And he's going to kind of tie it all together and give you his thoughts on why this has happened to him and his life. And so we're looking forward to that. Also, you guys make sure, I know, we were doing weekly live shows every, Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We've decided we're going to move to, for balance, we're going to do every other week. And I plan to stick to that because I enjoy being on there with you guys and talking about all the different things. So I've got a pretty good episode, live show, I should say, coming out next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you check it out. We're going to be kind of diving into paranormal sightings and stuff. And we're probably going to pick a state. So I'm not going to do like 50 states of fear, kind of like what Daniel and his channel do, but we're going to do a couple states that are, I think, hotbeds for paranormal and supernatural activity. And that's all things from ghost to Bigfoot to Dogman. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Please like the show. We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. Once we get to that level, we're able to unlock some other features that I think we'll be able to bring more for you guys. So we're getting close. Help us get over that hump and share the channel. As always, email me if you have anyone you want to share their story. We'd love to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you guys on Wednesday. My email address is strangeconspiracies88@gmail.com. And you guys have a wonderful week. As always, stay weird, stay rude, and stay alive. We'll see you next time.